What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review, coming out of Long Island, New York. With me today, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
We also got my brother, your brother, B.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Hell yeah, B, we're doing great tonight. You know why, B? Because we saw a fantastic movie, B. That's why. We saw a great movie,
Damn
B.
straight.
Al says damn straight. People watching on YouTube, don't mind the fuzzy video for me and the lighting. We have issues with Epoch Cam. Epoch Cam. Shout out to Epoch Cam, not updating drivers and fucking shit up. So, but we are still here recording, talk about movies, movie news, movie rumors, and just the love of movies here. So we're going to be talking to you guys today about John Wick Chapter 4, our thoughts, our feelings about the movie. Of course, we're going to go into a non-spoiler first, and then we'll get into a spoiler review for those who did see the movie. You get to hear our thoughts completely laid out, and we'll tell you guys if we're hyped up for Dungeons and Dragons this week. So we'll see what's going on. So let's get right into that non-spoiler review. Al, you got to see the movie before we did on Saturday. Brandon and I saw it on Sunday. What was your thoughts, non-spoiler?
It's a great, for me at least, it was a great build-up from the first three movies. They didn't need to build up anything. They just went from, like the previous two sequels, they just went right from where everything left off. So this movie is basically stepping on the gas from the opening credit to the final after credit scene. So stay till the very end if you don't know this already.
Oh yeah,
it's the first one with a post-credit scene. But yeah, no, there's so much. They used the world that was built up in the second and third sequel and really ran with it.
right.
Gave us a lot more to the John Wick world. And using that, I feel like there's some stuff that gives them an opportunity for 5 that at first glance there may not be there. I'll go into that when we talk about spoilers.
Right.
But yeah, kid, the action, everybody has a role that they play in this movie. From what's his name? Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays the manager for the Osaka Continental.
The Continental, right.
Oh, kid, Donnie Yen. Even though I didn't like the character, I thought the guy who played the tracker did a very good job for being the first time his character's in
Definitely
here.
came off badass.
Yo, kid, there's an actor in this movie who I enjoy his movies. He's an action, fight, karate kind of movie type guy. Kid, when his character comes on screen, I'm like, this guy looks familiar, but looks nothing like him until you see him move. Then I'm like, all right.
I still have no idea what you're talking about, so we're gonna talk about that in spoilers. But
yeah, kid, yeah. Put it this way: the actor's name is Scott Atkins. He's in the movie. You just wouldn't know it from looking at his character.
And I know Scott Atkins.
Move. Yeah, kid. You know Scott Atkins?
Do I? You tell me. Like
you have to. I guarantee you, when you see him, you'll recognize him from other movies.
All right.
He should be getting a lot more shine than he does in the movie in the industry. But he's real good. He's real good. His movies, for me, he does the stunts very well, so he should be getting a lot more shine. But
right.
Put it this way: he's in the club scene.
You know who he is, Hav.
And then, yeah, you'll know who he is. Yeah.
All right.
Everything you know everybody's motivation. It stays true to their characters. The movie stays true to the whole story of the high table and the rules and everything that came from it. I sat there and went to a 10:30 showing that really didn't start till 11. Okay, I felt like it was 4:00 in the afternoon because that movie had me just going from jump. And there's a scene in the movie that I don't know if they've ever used this before in in any other film,
Uh-huh.
but I really felt like I was in a video game. I felt like I just went from
Oh
watching a
yeah,
movie to watching a game, kid.
that
And
was
then
incredible.
yeah, and I know they showed it in the previews, that fire breath ammo for the shotgun. Yo, kid, oh my god, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things in this movie that you're like I was tired at the end of the movie because there was just so much shit going on.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I
There's a lot
can't
of
wait for
oohs
this.
and ahs in the theaters.
Yeah, I can't wait for the spoiler section. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Al wants to get into it. B, how about yourself, man? What'd you think of the movie?
I thought it was great. Parabellum, I was telling Al, Parabellum, I thought was a really good movie. I
Mm,
felt like I didn't connect with it, as much as I wanted to.
mhm.
Like I felt like there was so much happening, and they were doing a lot in the movie. But I felt
Right.
like in this movie it was streamlined. Like everything is happening. There's a reason it's happening. We're just progressing along this story, and everything connects at the end. And I was really happy with, like, one of our big Marvel things is when someone gets introduced or something gets said, we want an explanation. Right? We want to know why it connects, how it comes up.
Right. Right.
And in this movie, all they have to say is, "Oh, Kane is an old friend, brotherhood," and that's it. And it's just like, all
Uh-huh.
right, this was a guy that John Wick worked with in the past. They become tight. The Osaka manager. We're brothers. That's it. That's all I needed to know. You guys are
Yeah.
brothers. And like they just didn't
Or at
need to
least you guys consider
explain.
yourself as brothers.
Yeah, it was like
Says
there was
enough.
no need to explain anything. It was
Right.
just, here it is. This is why this is happening. Here's why we're doing it. And
Hmm.
cue, and that was the whole movie from start to finish. And it just made the story so much easier to get into because it streamlined itself. And so you were able
Right.
to follow the action because you didn't have to think about all the things of why this connects. It was just,
Hmm.
I know John Wick has to get from A to B, and that
That's
was it.
it.
And that was great.
I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, watching the movie, I don't know why I felt this way, but I kind of told Brandon this in the theater. It was like I felt like in Parabellum, there was more of the oohs and ahs. Like you get the library scene, you have the horse scene, you have the motorcycle scene, and it was cool. But like I agree with you on this one thing with the both of you guys are saying is that this one has more of a story where you follow the beat through and it goes from beginning to end that way. So the story is a little bit better. I don't know why, but I thought I had a better time with Parabellum than I did with this one. But it's still a good movie. It's a really good movie, very interesting movie to see, and the action is incredible. Al mentioned the fire breath of the shotgun shells. When you see this thing in action, it's crazy. And the thing that Al's talking about was an absolute incredible thing. I think this has to be the first time I've ever seen it done. Maybe it's
Mhm.
done in other movies I haven't seen, but this is the first time I saw it done, and I was like, they need to start doing this more often. This is crazy how it looks, and it's simply just like camera goes whoop. It's just
That's
That
like
was
it.
it. Yeah.
that's it, and it was just so well done. And I don't know if it was one take, if it was somehow edited perfectly. It was incredible when we talk about what it is that we saw there. But the overall story, again, I thought it was incredible. The ending was tight. I like the ending. Um, and again, I'll mention post credit scene. I think when you guys see this post credit scene, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, what does this lead into?" And Al also hinted at something where we got to see what happens with John Wick Chapter 5 because there was a rumor that they were making John Wick Chapter 5, that they were supposed to be making John Wick 4 and 5 at the same
Gotcha.
time, but then the director was like, "No, I want to make sure I make a movie." And then
Mhm.
we go from there. So we'll talk about that as we get into the spoilers. Right now, let's give you the final detail of what we think you guys should do to see this movie. Whether it's you need to see this right now, whether you should see this or you should wait for it, or it's not worth your time. I personally feel like for an action movie that's made like this, and for that camera angle, for some of the things that you see in this movie, I'm going to tell you guys as a movie fan. I don't know if you guys are all movie fanatics. I think you need to see this movie because of the way it's played out. It's kind of crazy. It looks awesome. Um, I'm not even sure if it's my top movies yet. For some reason, I'm battling whether Scream. I can't believe I'm saying it. Scream was a good time in the theaters opposed to this movie because this movie felt long in some parts. It did feel a little long because it is long. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes plus credits. and Nicole Kidman. So like, so it's like
Hey,
this movie,
heartbreak feels good in a place like this, okay?
and not after the 15,000th fucking time I seen it. But yeah, this movie's awesome, man. And I think that if you're an action movie fan, you need to see it. If you're not really into brutal combat, all that, then you might not want to rush to go see it right away. But it's just the cinematography. There's some shots in here. There's pictures in the online that you see like of candles in the background everywhere. The shit looked amazing in IMAX. So if you guys have not seen this movie, I'm going to tell you, I think you need to see this movie in theaters, man.
Yeah.
Al, I think I know what you're going to say. What's your
Oh,
thoughts on
okay.
people
Yeah.
seeing this
No,
movie?
this is by far my favorite movie of the year, if
Yeah.
not the last few years.
Woo!
Yeah, kid. I
Few
mean, 'cause
years.
like I said, the more you think about, kind of like what I was saying last week about Shazam, the more I thought about the movie, the more I was hating the movie.
Right.
This time around, the more I think about the movie, the more I enjoy the movie, love the movie.
Mhm.
Can't wait to maybe see it again. You know, because for every 5 minutes, there's something to stress about, like the way they did this, the way they did that, the
Uh-huh.
little nuances and details that they paid attention to. You know, we're talking about one scene. How about the staircase scene just leading to the final scene? Oh my, that's what I'm saying. Like for an action movie to have so many different scenes that you don't even realize your main character probably said about 10 words throughout a 2 hour and 45-minute movie.
Literally had
Yeah.
5 lines.
John,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guns.
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody else around him had more dialogue than he did, and he's
Yeah.
your main character in a movie that's almost 3 hours long. So, like that just tells you how much action was going. The driving scene in Paris, forget.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yes.
kid.
The Arctic Troop.
Oh, forget it, kid.
Oh,
And the sad
dude.
part is, I could see that happening in New York, and everybody would be like, "What's happening over there?" And just keep it moving like nothing, like because that's what was happening here. I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like, forget it, kid.
That's
Yeah,
nuts.
go watch this movie. Go watch it several times. Watch it
Oh, Al
Dolby.
sold. Al
Yo,
sold.
kid, watch
Yeah.
it Dolby. Watch it in IMAX. Watch it in every version. Buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out. Yes, buy it on Blu-ray.
Woo! Damn, Brandon. Brandon's be like, yeah, it was. Yeah, what
It
he
was all
say.
right.
You're like,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
okay.
it was a good time. You might want to see it.
Nah, B, but what's your final overall rating on this, man? Is this a need to see, a you should see, or what's your thoughts?
Honestly, I say you need to see it. Like it
Wow.
just from beginning to end, it was incredibly entertaining. And I feel like there were so many little lull scenes, like just scenes where they were talking and just taking a break from the action. Like there was so
Right.
few of them that when the action
Yeah.
came in, you're like, oh fuck. Like you're like it just hit you, you know? And like there's just so many great so many choreographed scenes. You know, just
Oh
like
God.
Osaka alone set this movie off for me. Just because this film has, yeah, of course, there's John Wick, but there are so many characters involved in this film that have a means to the story that they all get ample amount of time to support their own part of the story. And so Osaka alone, following what, 3 storylines in Osaka, and it just all interweaving itself through all the fight scenes, action scenes, story, whatever it is. You know, it was brilliantly done. And
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
just as the story progresses, you know, getting to the final act, you have like this sense of like, holy shit, like what is this leading to? Like even the setup for the final act was just like, oh, we're gonna have, you know, I don't want to give it away, but it was like, we're gonna just have these weapons and we're just gonna do this. And it's like, that doesn't sound like anything. And then it's like getting there, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck's happening here just to get there? You know?
Just to get to that.
Just to
one
get to
scene,
that.
yeah.
Like, fuck. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But honestly, you need to see it. I honestly think this is the best John Wick movie that they've made.
Wow.
I feel like the story
Yeah.
really nailed it. You know, they nailed the
Mhm.
story, they nailed the action. They can obviously do a spin-off with almost 4 different characters, and I'd watch all 4 of them.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, man. You guys got me all hyped up, man. I love that, man. I think it's like I gotta tell you, this is another movie where I feel like I want to see again for sure when it comes out on Blu-ray. I want to definitely check it out one more time because I feel like there was stuff that I missed. Because first of all, we went at the brand. It was the 10:15
It was
showing.
10:15. It started at 11:12.
Oh, dude, it was brutal, kid. I definitely nodded off for like a split second, a couple of times. And I was just like, what just happened, Brandon? Why are they all fighting? I just wasn't. They were just at a gambling table, and now all of a sudden everybody's fighting. What happened? Yeah, so I definitely missed a scene or two. So I definitely need to watch it on Blu-ray. But from what I do remember of the movie in total, I mean, it was actually fantastic. So listen, you guys are hearing us out there, watching us out there talk about John Wick Chapter 4. Just go buy your ticket. Go check it out. It's been a fantastic movie. It was a good time at the theaters. It was awesome, man. It's when we go to the movies is for things like John Wick Chapter 4. So let's get into a non-spoiler review of the John Wick Chapter 4 movie. So people, if you have not seen the movie, don't get it spoiled for you. You're going to want to see it and watch it in person at the first time, not expecting any of the stuff that we're about to talk about. It's like a wow factor to it because it's so different. And the fact that they've made different fighting styles and scenes and looks just in four, I don't know where they can go from here. But yeah, man, it was amazing. All right, so let's get into it. And before we continue the love fest for John Wick Chapter 4, there were so minimal things that we didn't like about the movie, or if there were anything minimal. I know there was one beef I had with this movie, and I'm going to talk about it really quick, but I want to see if any of us had an issue with this movie because I found one, and it's the Iron Man nanotech thing that I hate. You know how in Marvel now, everyone has nanotech now. Well, because they introduced it in Black Panther, now Iron Man has it, Black Panther has it, now freaking even Ant-Man, his helmet goes back and disappears, right? Freaking Spider-Man has nanotech. In the last movie, Parabellum, we figured out or we found the tailor who made the bulletproof suit. So now the high table and their guards all have bulletproof suits. So while I get that, like they introduced it in the last film, I feel like it was so OD that everyone was just like covering themselves up with a suit, and that was their way of blocking. And even him, like they're blocking shots from like guns that are this close. And it was like annoying that even the freaking high table and of course if he had a suit that's freaking bulletproof, they would have suits that are bulletproof. It was just like, all right, I get it, everybody has bulletproof suits now. It's kind of corny. So like if they make a John Wick Chapter 5, like everyone's gonna have these new bullet shells, everyone's gonna have these bulletproof suits. At some point, how are you gonna kill people? Like that was my one gripe.
That's actually what made me like the Osaka scene a lot, because it was like, how many times did John Wick have to shoot those guys just to kill them? You know?
Because in Parabellum they had the masks, so he couldn't do the headshots no more.
So I was like, oh my god, it was so funny. Like I remember the armored guard, so he unloaded like a whole clip in this one guy. And I thought it was, I actually did like that part. It got a little OD towards the end because like I gotta cover my face. But like in the Osaka scene, I thought it was really well used that everybody was just like, if I'm gonna kill you, I gotta work hard to kill you.
Yeah,
it forced the close combats.
Definitely a lot of close combat stuff. Al, any negatives or just nope, everything was great?
No, they put a lot, like you said, there was 2 hours and 45 minutes. You know, some of the fight scenes could have been shortened because some of the fight scenes felt like they were going on for 25 minutes.
They were.
Osaka,
they were 25 minutes.
You know, so afterwards, it feels great. But when you're there and you're like, all right, I got it. You kicked this guy already 15 times. Let's go. Let's move on. Let's, let's progress. That's the only gripe. And it's a very small one for me. Like, honestly, I enjoyed it. But if I could say, you know what, because of the long run time, could you have done anything? Maybe cut down the length of some of the fight scenes.
Take away some of Keanu Reeves' lines.
Yeah, kid. Oh, forget it. Osaka alone, the Osaka scene alone just made me a newfound respect for nunchucks.
Oh,
kid.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
just
crazy.
the one scene where he had the guy's head down and he just kept smacking him with the
Dude,
nunchuck.
at first I had no belief that he knew how to use the nunchucks because he was like, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. And then he was like, bah, 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 bah. I was like, oh, he knows how to use them. I just never
Yeah.
seen them used like that before.
Dude, that was crazy, the nunchuck scene there.
Oh, kid.
Crazy, man. B, how about yourself, man? Any negatives? Because that, again, let's get the negatives out the way because it's about to be a love fest going on over here.
If I have to say any negative about the movie, and this is like I guess this is like a personal gripe, and it's like nothing about the actual movie. It's the fact that like just Keanu Reeves can't act. You know, like
Really? I thought he killed it.
Yeah.
no. He killed it as John Wick, but any
Right.
scene in which he had to deliver any kind of like talking, any kind of emotional, it was like one like just monotone. And it's not like, and it's not even that like he's John Wick. It's like that was the same way he acted in The Matrix. It was the same way he acted in Bill and Ted. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, it's almost like in this kind of movie, it's believable, but then like
Right.
I'm seeing Keanu Reeves when he talks. And I'm just like, I need you to not be Keanu Reeves. But other than that,
Gotcha.
like everything is incredible. Like just him taking on all the combat, him doing all the things that he did, nuts. Because you know he did most of that himself. You know, and so for him to do that, he did the time to learn how to hold the gun that way because that's how you hold it in special forces. Like for him to learn all those things and just continue with it for 4 movies, incredibly impressive. It's just the dialogue that just doesn't do it for me.
I got you, man. All right, so now let's get into it because again, I didn't have anything negative except for that whole like pew 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 pew, like it's blocking it with your freaking suit jacket every time. Like, that was my only issue. But let's get into the actual thing now. Let's talk about the story, Al. What part of the story did you enjoy the most? Is it the Osaka scene? Was it the Arc de Triomphe, which was the circle at the end in Paris, France? Was it the staircase? Was it the last duel? What did you like about this movie? What part of the story did you like the most?
I like that it actually had a story. You know, like it
Yeah.
wasn't just him trying to kill somebody for, oh, you pissed me off or whatever. No, he was trying to get out. And this was him actually pursuing, trying to get out and finding out, okay, this is who I have to deal with in order to get out. Let me get there, you know, and so forth. But in terms of scenes, for me, it was that scene, and I think it's a chateau, you know, when they all chase him down and he's in that building. Because like I said, that scene is the first time, like they're tracking him like they always do, you know, side on, you see him fighting everybody, shooting. And then they just go into that scene where, like you said, the camera just moves up. It felt like it was all supposed to be one shot. If it wasn't one shot, camera just goes up, and you see from a top down view, like a video game. Like he's going
in
down.
IMAX, that shit looks so crazy.
It was awesome.
Oh, kid, and then he's firing those dragon breath rounds that it just made it look ridiculous. Seeing the people burn up after they got shot.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck am I watching? I can't, like, I don't, like, I got lost in, I didn't know what the hell, I didn't know who got shot, where they came from, who was.
Dude, he shot that one guy 3 times.
Okay, it was just really, and then it would go back to a normal view, and then I was out of control. And then for me, a close second was the stairway scene, only because it was ridiculous. You know, and this adds to it that fact that he gets to the top, you think he's done or he's almost near the top, and then one guy comes out of nowhere, busts his ass, and sends him rolling all the way
back down. What did the lady DJ said was 248 stairs, something like that?
Yeah, okay. Oh, forget it. And then he just looks up, he goes, oh.
I know our theater lost it when he got kicked out. They were like, oh no. And he's just rolling. And he's just rolling down the hill, man, down the staircase there. Oh man, B, how about for you, man? What was like I guess your favorite part of the story or scene or anything like that?
Uh, I honestly, I can't talk about Osaka enough. I think Osaka
Hmm.
was just a really great way to start this movie. You know,
Yeah.
just having these different characters, explaining their backstories in the most minimal way, and just like John Wick is here. These guys are protecting him. These guys are after him. And just the introduction of all the characters, Donnie Yen's Kane coming in, and just like if you notice, Donnie Yen's Kane, he didn't kill any of the Japanese soldiers. He didn't kill anybody. He beat them up, but he didn't kill
Hmm.
them. His whole thing was just like, I'm on contract and I'm sorry, but I'm on contract and I just need to get to John. Like that. I really respected that a lot. And
Yeah.
then just how that scene unfolded for everybody, I thought was the most perfect way to really set this story going. I from the action from the high tables group, from the Osaka group of security guards,
Right.
just everybody, the whole choreography scene, the use of the high armor, that just is completely bulletproof, so you have to get them in the neck where they barely
Hmm.
have any room, to John Wick getting exhausted while fighting. Like that was the most realistic shit I've ever seen because I got tired watching. I like that guy. He fought that one guy for like 6 minutes, and I'm like, I'm fucking tired watching him. Like, and then he was out of breath, and I'm like, okay, good. Like, I'm happy he's out of breath, and
Right.
just the realisticness of that scene of how it flowed in. One of my big gripes about fighting movies, action movies in general, is when there are a group of people that are fighting one guy and they take turns.
Oh God,
There's nothing that
yes.
drives me crazy. And in this movie, they didn't do that. They all
Right.
went in, and the only time people waited was when someone was shooting because they didn't want to get shot. And I was like, that's the smart way to do it. Like, that's perfect,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that
So,
scene where like somebody standing in the background waiting to take a hit, like, yo, dude, you would be swinging right now.
yeah, I would have just tackled the guy from behind. He's not even looking my way.
Right. No,
So I
but
love that.
yeah, man. Well, this it's kind of crazy that we all pick different scenes that were our favorites because that means the movie's awesome, man. My favorite, honestly, is the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France. That's when they do the circle with the car, and then he gets out the car, starts fighting the bad guys, or not the bad guys, but more of the high table security guards, plus all the contract killers that are there to kind of kill him before he gets to the stairway to go to the duel. That scene was just incredible because you could see how fast the cars are going behind them, and it was like at any second a car could hit him, and cars were hitting him, not just him, but the bad guys, the people. There's even a part where he's in his car and he's circling in the car with no doors, a group of guys, and he's just circling around, just pap 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 pap. You just see the blood squirt. Like he's killing these guys, man. It was just like everything about that was amazing. And then, of course, the theatrics of he's beating somebody up, and then all of a sudden a car comes and takes them out. Like, oh shit. It was just so cool and so well done. And again, like Brandon had just said, the choreography of a lot of the stuff, even though it was basically him fighting and shooting everybody, they made it that it was never like almost like I don't want to say nothing was repeated because there was a lot of grappling. There was definitely a lot of grappling in the movie, and it was a lot of like Keanu Reeves grabbing them and putting them and tossing them on the floor. But they still made everything interesting, and they made everything look cool, and everything looked different, felt different. It's incredible, and There's so many more fight scenes. Like the thing what you guys are saying, like Scott Atkins. I think I know who he is as far as in the movie. I don't know him outside of the movie, like in any other movie he's done. But I know that scene, even with the rain in the club and the water in the club and all that stuff like that. I do have to say that it is a little awkward that he's fighting people and people are dancing around him. No one stops dancing and runs away.
It took a
He
while.
was
It took a
swinging
while.
axes and nobody was moving.
It took a while for everybody. There's like there's battle axes being thrown around people. Like you could get hit. Like
There was the one
gunshots and
guy.
fights, and people are like,
The first time the axe was thrown and it got somebody, there was one guy who like looked at it and he was like, he like physically shrugged and then turned away.
yeah, like Really? Like, I don't know, man. That was the one weird thing too, but
Yeah.
but I gotta say that scene for me, forget the Arc de Triomphe. All of Paris, France was fucking
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, you got the Chateaubriand that Al's talking about. We got the whole Arc de Triomphe, the stairway, and the duel. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Very crazy. So listen, we've talked about a couple characters that are in this movie, man. And one of the big characters that we talk about a lot is Kane, played by Donnie Yen, who's playing his character from Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
He's so good at playing a blind guy. This is like a third one.
He was amazing. And I gotta say, he surprised me. His whole scene in Osaka beat, I absolutely loved. At first, I thought he was putting like explosives on the walls for freaking to explode, not realizing they were doorbell sounds so he could hear where they were as opposed to where he was, which was kind of interesting and crazy. B, tell me about Donnie Yen, man. You said you loved this guy in this movie.
I love Donnie Yen. I think he killed it as Kane, and it just he makes it believable that he's a blind man because this is like the third time he's done it, and it's so clever the use of having a blind assassin. You know, from the doorbell chimes to just feeling the area around with the sword, with the cane.
Tap,
yeah,
tap.
just to familiarize himself so he knows the best way to attack, you know, and just the way he used his body to actually fight people. The scenes when he had a gun in his hand, I'm like, who's he gonna shoot? You don't know where anybody is. Who's he gonna shoot? And just the way he used the background to lure people out so he could shoot them, I thought was genius. And just from beginning to end, having him just be a central part that wasn't just like, I'm the overall bad guy or I'm going to be just in this scene till I get killed. Having him follow John Wick throughout the entire movie was just great storytelling. Even the use of Donnie Yen and the staircase scene, you know, John Wick said, listen, you're at 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Which one you want to take? And he goes, thanks for telling me. You know, so, you know, it was a great way of making that make sense, you know, because I'm like, he's going to trip up these stairs. But I thought Kane was such an excellent character. Donnie Yen played him very well. And I'm actually hoping that this leads to something more for him because, you know, I'm a huge fan of the Ip Man series, you know, well, I'm going to say Ip Man 1 and 2 because the other ones.
Yeah, that's the ones I saw.
You know, the other ones weren't so great, but Ip Man 1 and 2, like the way he portrays himself as a martial artist is very awesome. And so if there's more chance to see Donnie Yen play an assassin martial artist, I'm all in.
Right. Yeah, man. Al, I see your head was nodding the entire time man was talking about it. Tell me about your thoughts about Donnie Yen.
Yeah, the character was crazy. Like I think B alluded to it earlier. He's not really trying to kill anybody. Matter of fact, if you remember in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't even want the job. He tells them, "You don't want me. Go somewhere else." And if it wasn't for the fact that the high table threatened to kill his daughter, he wasn't going to take the job. You know,
which gave him a purpose in this entire movie.
And he's beating up those guys. He's not trying to kill them. He's just trying to get. And then even when he faces Sonata's character, and you could tell they're friends, and he didn't want to fight him. He didn't want to. He just says, "Listen, just give him up. You know, protect your hotel, protect your daughter. Just give him up." And then when he says no, he goes, "I don't want." Even with that fight, he says right before they fight, "I don't want to do this." So throughout the movie, he stays true to listen. I just turn your. I just want John. That's it. Yeah. And even after he kills Sonata and the daughter tries to jump in, he tells her, "Live." Like he's not trying to kill
do
people.
this. Yeah.
And and even later in the movie, the high table still has control by saying, "I'm gonna kill your daughter," and he gets so tired of hearing that he tells the guy, "Fuck off." Like so like I love that character. I love the way they carried it out. There was only one scene where I was like, wait, is he blind or is he just like barely can see, because was when they do the poker scene, he knew what cards he had.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is he blind? Like,
Yeah.
or just like, or just legally blind? I don't understand it. I didn't know
Yeah.
what card he had. But yeah, no, the way he did that, and I love the fact that to the point of that he's blind, he's not really trying to overact his attacks. When the guys were on the ground, he would just go like snap, 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 snap. Like, like he wasn't doing like any, like there was not any excess motion with his movements.
Yeah.
Once they were on the ground and he wanted them dead, snap, 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 snap. It was like, like you're poking something with a fork or something, the way he would do it. I just found that hysterical every time he did it.
Now, you guys got to answer me a question now, because I want to see if I remember what I thought I saw. Did he do a wind-up uppercut?
He did. He did do a wind up. He said, he also gave the Ip Man the Wing Chun. He did.
Oh, he definitely did the Wing Chun a couple times, dude. But I just wanted to make sure I saw what I thought I saw, which was a wind-up uppercut.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing, dude. Yeah, man. And, let's see. And real quick, Brandon, I want you to tell me, where do I know Mr. Scott Atkins from? What other movies has he done? Because when I saw the character, I was like, when I saw the actor, I was like, okay, he was wearing a suit, clearly, because he's not that big. But I don't recall where I know this face from.
He was from Ip Man.
He's from Ip Man. Okay.
Yeah, he was in one of the Ip Man movies as a martial artist.
Gotcha.
He was in a movie called Accident Man, Section 8.
I mean, I feel like most Marvel, like not Marvel movies, but most martial arts movies, he's like in it. Whenever they have he was in Expendables too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and honestly, I was hoping Chuck Norris for some reason. I thought Chuck Norris would be in this movie, but he was not.
Chuck Norris.
Oh my goodness! So let's talk about another character that's in this movie that gets a lot of. Well, I want to say a lot of playtime, but there's a definitely strong feature of this character in the movie, and that's the Tracker, aka Mr. Nobody. Now, from my opinion here, I thought Mr. Nobody was probably going to be related to somebody in the movie, whether it's the Bowery King, which is played by Lawrence Fishburne, or if he was going to be like retribution or revenge for the hotel manager that gets killed in the movie, which unfortunately was kind of awkward because they gave him a burial and we saw them memorialize him, and he's really dead in real life, which is kind of crazy right before this movie came out. I thought it was something like that, but it ended up being just a guy who was just trying to get the price or the amount of money that they would get to capture John Wick as high as possible. Because there's a scene in this movie where he goes, how much for John Wick? 20 million? Not high enough.
Not enough.
Yeah. And he had it in the book too, how much he was going to wait until he would go after him.
Yeah.
Really?
There was a page in his book.
He wanted I think he wanted 48 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 48 million. Like he had a whole bunch of like prices that he knew they were gonna put on him, and the top one was the one he was gonna wait for until he would actually go after him.
That is kind of crazy. And he caught me by surprise in Osaka because he's in there, and you're like, okay, he looks like at first I thought he was the guy from Candyman, Yahya Abdin.
Abdin.
Mateen. I thought it was him at first. I was like, nah, that's definitely not him. There's a resemblance, but that's definitely not him. But he caught me off guard with the first action scene in Osaka when he took out his gun from the side and just bang and blasted the guy and then just tucked it away really fast. I was like, oh, he's a badass. Oh, he's a badass. And he has a dog. And I'm like, this is crazy, man. Al, what did you think of the Tracker?
At first, I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of the character at first because I thought they were, especially since he was with the dog and everything. I thought they were gonna like have him come out and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot Halle Berry's character from 3." I thought he was gonna come out and say something like, "So and so sent me to make sure your ass don't die" or something like that.
Right.
And I thought they were gonna be like teammates. But just to find out that he's another assassin trying to collect the bounty,
Mhm.
um, and I don't know, like to redo the dog bit with another character and not have it tied to Holly Berry. I was like, why would you do that? Like,
Right.
like I understand everybody liked the dog scenes from 3, but then how do you not make them be connected in some way when everything else in these movies is connected?
I got you.
So that threw me off with him, but he grew on me throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Especially at the end when he really has his fight scene and he's in the house and he's trying to fight back. And, I think at one point he takes the book bag and he flips it over and you see like extra clips layered on the front.
Oh, and the
I was
iron
like,
chest plate.
yeah, kid. I was like, all right, this guy, okay, he's all right. He can stay in the movie. He's good.
Another badass to add to the
Yeah,
movie.
kid. Yeah. So and like B said, he's one of these people that I can see them giving a spinoff to like
Hmm.
flush out his storyline
Right.
and give us a bunch of Wick spinoffs.
Gotcha, man. Brandon, what's your thoughts on the Mr. Nobody, the tracker?
It took me a little bit to realize that like he literally just was a nobody, like
Yeah.
not have no story to tell you. I'm here, and I'm gonna play my role, kind of a thing, till I get what I
Yeah.
want. And so, because I was at first, I'm like, I don't really understand his motivations. Like, it seems like by this notebook that he has, he's very obsessed with John Wick, and he's waiting to get his
Yeah.
bounty like he wants to. And it wasn't really explained why. And so I thought they were going to elaborate on it more. But just like Al said, like, I genuinely really enjoyed all the scenes he was a part of, to the point where
Mhm.
I kind of went with the flow with it. Was just like, okay, he's really a nobody. He's here to collect the bounty, and he's someone we're gonna try and personalize with or relate to. So I was like,
Right.
all right. So even in the last duel scene, like he was just there sitting with the dog, you know.
Yeah, he just
It's
got his
so
appreciation for John Wick, and he was just like, you know what? I like this guy.
yeah, like so he grew on me, and I appreciated all the scenes he was in. I would love to get some more about him or see more with him going
Mhm.
forward. But he was like kind of the one addition that I was just like, oh, I don't really get you. Like why
Right.
you're a part of this ensemble. But it was cool to have him there.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, I did really like him, and I think you guys kind of hinted at what I think is gonna happen is either definitely some of these characters are going to be in something else eventually, or maybe have their own series on Netflix or Hulu or even Amazon Prime or something, because I know they're making a show called The Continental, which is
Mhm.
supposed to be in the John Wick franchise on Amazon. So let's see if that's maybe some part of it there. There's a bunch of other side characters again that are introduced, and I don't think anyone really made a big impact besides what's his name, Shanada,
Yeah.
the guy
Sonata.
from Sonata. I think that's
Yeah.
he was a big side character, but he really was just in the first part of the movie. But the other person that had a big feature in this movie is the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård, our
Mhm.
Pennywise. He was in this movie playing a no shit taking. I guess he was maybe the almost like the assassin for the what do they call it again,
The high
The high
table.
the
table.
table, the high
Yeah.
table, and he kind of shocked me when he first came on the scene, and he took out the manager for the Continental, not the owner or the what was he? Was the front
The
desk guy?
concierge. He
The
was the
Concierge.
concierge he
concierge.
took
Yeah.
out. That was again, it was a little weird to see that because of us knowing the true of what's
Yeah.
happening with the a real actor in real life. But at the same time, in the movie itself, it was like, oh shit, they took this character out from that's been in this series for the last, however many years that John Wick has been out.
Yeah.
Even throughout the film, the choices, the things that he was saying, the things that he was doing, it was just like always like, wow, this guy is deep. There was some scenes where it was just like, this guy is just fucking too cool to be like on the screen right now. There was a scene where he's like sitting on a sofa in front of a big art piece of history, and he's just sitting there, and it just looked incredible. And just like when he was talking shit to the owner of the concierge, not the concierge, the Continental in New York, that they exploded. Just again, his scenes powerful for what he had to do. Um, I didn't like his ending, but it is what it is as far as his ending goes. I really wanted him to really have a battle or a fight. We really didn't get to see him do that. We just saw a man just kind of own the power that he had. What was your thoughts on Bill Skarsgård character Marquis? B?
Uh, I I liked his introduction a lot. It just set in
His intro was crazy.
like this guy isn't here to fuck around, you know? And for
Yeah.
me, like it seemed like he was just the power play kind of a thing. Like he was
Right.
the personal representation for the high table, in the world. Like he's the man who's gonna be the face of it, without being in the high
Mhm.
table. So you knew the high table was around. Like this guy was. If this guy's the worst you're gonna get, then I don't want to see the high table kind of a thing. Um, and
Right.
just, when Mr. Nobody met with him and he was just like, "Oh, you want a deal? All right, listen, let's have a deal." And he's like, stab your hand, motherfucker. Like that scene, I was like, "Oh shit, he's not fucking
That was
around."
gross.
You know?
That was gross.
I think the one thing though was like, and maybe this is a testament to the characters as they grew throughout the film.
Mhm.
The start of the first half of the movie was everybody not fearing him, but knowing his power. And by the
Right.
second half of the film, everybody was playing him. Like where Mr. Nobody was like, "Listen, call me when you got a number. Bye." Like it started off like he was getting pissed off. Like, "No, I'm the guy. Like, you don't hang up on me.
Right.
I'm the guy." So I think it's more of a testament to the growth of the characters on that end of things. But
Right.
just to see how he had his rise and fall throughout the movie was very cool. Just to see a guy with
Right.
such power, and he's going to abuse it, and how that played him in the end. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Al, how about you, man? What you think of the Marquis?
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. Like he was a good character to bring in. They make it clear from the beginning he has the full blessing and full authority of the high table.
Mhm.
So in essence, everybody knows don't fuck with him because he's being allowed to do whatever the hell he wants in order to get John Wick.
Mhm.
And you see that he's willing to do so. The little nuance with the character that I found that kept distracting me was his ties. Them shits kept getting elaborate. Every time they showed him, he
Yeah.
was in an outfit with a more elaborate tie.
Fat white
Like,
tie.
Oh shit, I didn't notice anything about
Yeah,
Fat white tie.
at first it was like, yeah, in the beginning it's a basic tie. Then he goes on to the one with the multiple loops. Then at the end, he's got the tie with the whole flourish on the bottom. I'm like, damn, who's this tailor? Motherfucker's coming, he's coming to talk murder, and he's looking like he's going to a fashion show instead. Like, damn. But but to your point, like his character was one who seems to have always had power within and for the high table.
Right.
So like he almost like an entitled child. He almost didn't even understand like how he was seeing and meeting so much resistance and getting stuff done. And he
Right.
seemed to be getting frustrated, similarly to how an entitled child would get frustrated when he's told no. So it was interesting watching him interact with people, and I guess like to what Brandon was saying, like seeing the other characters pick up on, all right, he stood like I felt like he was starting to lose it, and the other characters were seeing that. Like
Right.
as John Wick kept advancing and getting closer and closer, others were seeing that the other guy was losing power. Well, that's the way I felt, that they were still afraid of the table, but they were losing fear of him.
Right, definitely. Because even the what was I forgot the name of the guy that was right next to him the entire time, kept saying to him, "You know what's going to happen if he gets here and he kills you, right? Like that's the end of the high table and what it stands for." And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, but can you imagine the person who kills John Wick or the
Yeah.
idea of John Wick?"
Yeah.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
go for it, Al.
No, I was just gonna say, and you could tell that, and at one point it looked like even the table was getting tired of him because, I forget what scene it was that he did something that they even said to him that was unnecessary.
Oh, it was the Osaka, the Continental.
Yes, when he said
Mhm.
Osaka was not necessary, there wasn't a need for something, and he goes,
The
"That
bloodshed.
was the exact there wasn't a need for so much bloodshed." He goes, "That was the point."
Right.
So it's like they gave him the power, but even they were not in agreement completely with how he was doing it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So listen, we made it a whole almost 50 minutes without saying the ending scene or anything like that. Shout out to Sanj. Sanj been on this podcast first 5 minutes. Well, we're gonna talk about whether John Wick's dead or alive. I love him, man. But he loves how to spoil shit. So so let's get into this thing with the duel at the end, because I think there's so much symbolism, so many different things going on, and a lot of confused people at the end are like, wait a minute. And I think personally, guys, my own opinion, I think they did do what I think they did. So let's go into that. We get the duel at the end where the Marquis chooses Kane to be his representative on the duel. And then we have John Wick on the other end, and they're going at it from 30 paces, 20 paces, 10 paces. Brandon saw there was one shot taken at that 10th pace. I did not see there was only one shot. I thought there was two. But now that I think of it, I can remember hearing just one shot and then John Wick falling down. Yeah. And I think this is where I nodded off again, because I didn't know how Marquis got the gun again. So Brandon, tell me.
So basically, in his moment of pride, right, John Wick got shot. He's bleeding on the floor, and so the Marquis was like, "Oh, let me be the one to finish it." And so as he goes over to Donnie Yen, Kane's like, "All right, you get to finish it, but our deal is good, right? Because we made the deal that you let me and my daughter go." And he's like, yeah. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. And so he agreed to end the deal. And so he approached John Wick, and as he was in his moment of power, Winston, the manager, reminded him, he's like, "You fucking idiot." He's like, "John Wick never shot." And as he looks back at John Wick has already pointed at him. Pop. Done. And I thought that was great. That was so good.
He used his own freaking, he knew that he was going to want to do something like that. Kind of crazy.
I think they planned that, because remember, before that, before they took their shots, John Wick makes I forgot what the saying was, but he said something to Kane, like some people that live in death or die by life or something like that. So I think he was like letting Kane know, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
So I think they were in on it based on that quote, because from the side, I mean, I want to rewatch it to see if I saw it right. I don't think John Wick even raises his arm to shoot. When they go, okay, fire.
No.
Kane picks up, shoots, but I don't even think Wick lifted his arm.
Right.
So I think that plan was always for it to. Yeah, I think it was meant for them to play out like that.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
And then again, we have the symbolism here where John Wick was at the church, and John Wick. So this is before the duel, of course, and before the whole France scene and everything. John is at the church, and they said that, "What are you doing, John?" He's just like, "I'm talking to Helen," and they're like, "Whoa." To me, I'm like, "Oh, he's talking to Helen." And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is the first time he's acknowledged. He's always had the video of her. He's always talked about her, and he even mentioned it a couple of times in this movie, where he's just like, even when on my gravestone put beloved, what was
husband.
it, beloved husband?
Yeah, loving husband.
Loving husband. Thank you, Al.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're really talking about death and stuff like that. And again, because of the way the last duel ended, and everything that he went through entire movie, I didn't want to believe that Donnie Yen really kind of killed him here, or took a shot that killed him. I thought it was like Al kind of mentioned, I thought it was a plan in place for them to kill the Marquis and everybody get what they wanted, kind of thing. But I'm starting to wonder, did John Wick want to die? Did he feel complete? He got everybody back to where they were, and his storyline is finished pretty much. What more is there for him to do besides, of course, for me, John Wick Chapter 5, he kills the high table, period, right? But there's also something kind of beautiful about, Winston gets his Continental back and rebuilt. He becomes the manager again. Donnie Yen gets his daughter back, and everything is done, right? So I'm going to ask you guys, Al, talk to me, brother. Is John Wick dead, dude?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a couple things like in I forget if it was in the very beginning. Somebody says to Wick that the only way he's gonna know. Oh, when he faces the elder at the very beginning, the elder says to him, "The only way you're gonna know peace is through death. Is death."
Right.
And his response was, "I know." So like I think that again to that last scene, that was the plan. That was his.
Mm.
He was getting. He helped um, Kane get his daughter and freedom back. He got Winston the Continental back, and he was going to be able to kill this guy and get his freedom through death.
Mm.
So I think that was the plan. The guy who created the movie said the intention was for it to be final. I think that
Wow.
all these talks about 5 was so that we wouldn't suspect that. Like if he
Right.
goes, "Oh yeah, no, it's just 4," then everybody would be rampant with, "Oh, Wick dies, Wick dies." So I think to throw people off, he was talking about a 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the intention is for that to be final.
Wow.
You have because when he collapses on the stairs, he envisions the wife almost like
Mm-hmm.
she's greeting him to bring him up.
Right.
Um, but I think there was a line early in the movie, and I think I was mentioning it to Brandon. There was I don't know if it was meant to be a throwaway line by Winston, but if they do decide, yo, we just made a shitload of money, let's make 5. It can give them an out of Wick being dead, and in at one point in the movie, Winston says to John Wick that the high table, they give you a life and they give you a name. They can take either. So if they want to use that line to imply they took the name, and so that scene that we see at the end is really them just taking the name, and now he's got to live his life under a different one. So I'm wondering
Gotcha.
if that could be how they make 5, and maybe in 5 it's about they find out that he didn't really.
Right.
So who knows what they want to do for 5, but I think that might be their way to do a 5. But
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, as far as they're concerned, I think this was supposed to be it. Anything else from the John Wick world is going to be these spin-offs that we keep hoping, that they could do a Kane spin-off. And the after credit thing
Right.
alludes to that. They could do a spin-off for the Mr. Nobody. That would be a
Right.
good spin-off. How did he become Mr. Nobody? For him to be that elite that he was basically the one that could have taken out John
Mm-hmm.
several times. What's his story? How did he get to that level? So there's a couple, other than obviously the ballerina that's coming out with Anna de Armas,
Anna de Armas.
and yeah, and the Continental, which is a prequel to the whole John Wick series. So
Right.
so it'll be interesting to see what spin-offs come from this, given how much love all of these characters in this specific movie are getting.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. B, how about yourself, man? You're willing to say that John Wick is done for, or is this like one of those things where he dies so that way no one looks for him and he comes in to kill the high table the next one?
I feel like the answer is whatever Universal wants. you know, it's funny is it was a perfect ending to end it. Like
Right.
I think he could have died there. There was nothing else he was fighting for at this point. Like
Right.
he was fighting for his freedom, but he wasn't fighting for a person. He wasn't fighting for, at towards the end when he realized why Kane was fighting, why this person was fighting, what they were fighting for. He strove to make sure that he could help them. But I feel like at that point he no longer had a need to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like he served his purpose, he served his life's purpose. And so I felt like that ending could be it. But
Mm-hmm.
based on the dollars, I feel like they could
Yeah, we'll see
easily,
what happens.
I feel like this is going to come down to dollars. And I hope it's not
Right.
like in vain where this could have been the ending and they just decided to go for it because they were greedy. You know, you can
Yeah.
obviously explain that the idea of John Wick is dead, but he's just off living secluded. He's just living his life somewhere else. And 5 is somebody, from the high table recognized him. He's not dead. They're going rogue trying to kill him. And now he's just trying to stop with it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a way to bring him back in somehow.
I hear you. Yeah, if they want it, they'll make it happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I to me, there's the reason why I don't want this to be the ending is because I don't think that was because it wasn't clear if he was really dead, right? It's kind of still like that mystery. What if he's not, or if he is? I kind of like that they left it like that, where they could revisit it. But I do think that there is something to him. This is it. Because what more can he do? And also in real life, dude, like how old is Keanu Reeves now?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
he's
he's
close to
almost
60.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he could probably do another one. It's movies. He's not well, yeah, he was really fucking flipping and doing all the crazy shit in this movie. They say he does like 90% of his freaking scenes in there. So
I think they said that the stunt double basically does the running scenes. He does everything. he does everything else.
yeah, man. So pretty crazy, man. And listen, as far as like I was saying, these different shows, I don't know if I mean, listen, we'll see the movie if the Mr. Nobody or the Tracker gets a movie. Donnie Yen, I don't know how much is left for his story to go. So I can't really see them making off-brand or offshoot movies. I could see a Tracker TV show on Amazon or something like that. But I don't know. I'm interested to see because again, they left that cliffhanger at the end where the daughter of Walt what is it? What's the guy's name again?
Sonata.
Sonata?
Yeah, Hiro
Yeah,
Yuki Sonata.
so Sonata. Well,
I
his
forgot the
character,
character's name. Yeah.
yeah, in the movie from the Osaka Continental, it looks like the daughter's gonna kill Kane at the end of the movie when he's gonna go, finally go see his daughter and let her know, you know, what happened there.
Mhm.
So for them to leave it off a cliffhanger like that to me means there's something else coming eventually. What that is, we'll see because you don't leave it like that. Like that's kind of a weird scene to play out towards the end there.
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, you guys hear us, man. We're glowing. We're talking about these guys, this movie, all these characters and these scenes. Again, I think it's something that you guys should see out there in the theaters or need to see in the theaters. If you're a huge action movie fan or even a fan of the series, you need to see it, of course. And you heard Alan B, of course, talking about this movie. So like, listen, real quick, because we've been talking for about an hour now. Um, there's been a lot of news about Dungeons and Dragons and this movie coming out with Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez and a couple of other people we know from other movies. What is your interest level at this for this out? Is it pretty high? You really good to see it? I haven't really heard great things, but I haven't heard bad things either. But
Yeah.
what's your take, man? You excited to see this movie or not really?
It's funny because I've been hearing nothing but good things about the movie. That's a good movie. It's funny. It's this. It's that. But the trailers don't draw me in. Like I don't
No.
know if it's Chris Pine. I don't know if it's this goofiness. Because again, I would have liked, for me personally, I would have liked a more serious interpretation of Dungeons and Dragons,
Right.
given the context of what they're dealing with. But in terms of what I saw, I didn't see anything terrible,
Right.
but nothing that's making me say, "Oh, I got to see that in the theater."
Yeah,
You
same
know,
for me,
so
man.
yeah, so I'll probably catch it. I just don't know if I'll be eager to catch it in the theater.
I got you. How about you,
Which
B?
Ah.
Oh, wow, brother, really?
nothing starts good that way.
The trailers are very meh, but
Right.
I like the acting talent that's in it.
Okay.
So it's like one of those like, if you give me a call and said you want to see it, I'll probably say sure, but I won't actively go on the app and get the tickets myself.
Well, you better because you get your freaking AMC back this week, brother.
I do.
Awesome, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, Brandon was fucking voided out for a couple of months there.
I got on the ban list.
Yeah, bad boy.
I saw too many movies.
Oh man.
Well, listen, guys, that's gonna be us for tonight, man. And we'd always love to know what you guys thought out there of John Wick Chapter 4 if you got to see it. And did you enjoy the parts that we enjoyed? Did you like the characters we liked? Or what character did you like that we didn't leave off? Or how about some of the other kills and villains? Leave a comment on the section. Leave a comment in the comment section of YouTube if you're watching. If you're listening to us on your podcast app there, email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. We'd love to read what you guys write out there and say about the movie. Also, are you guys seeing Dungeons and Dragons? Convince us to go see it because we're not convinced. I don't hear it, especially Brandon. I don't hear it in Brandon's tone that he's going to see this movie. So, but listen, if we do get a chance to watch it, we'll definitely review it next week on the next podcast there. So, listen, saying goodnight from Long Island, New York. We are the Real Fan Review. Saying goodnight is my brother B.
Adios, everybody.
Is our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And myself, Hob, saying good night. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the plus symbol in your podcast app there. So that way, every single week that we put out a podcast, or the weeks that we do put a podcast out, you see them and you hear them. And we'll catch you on the next episode, guys. The Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Review, hopefully. Yeah, we're pretty confident about that one. We'll catch you on the next podcast. Until next time.